Welcome back, class. I'm Mr. Teacher with the SAT Math video guide. In this video, I hope to finish up with section 3 and then we'll be moving on to the next section. So, in this video, we start from number 18. So, I've drawn out the table already. It's X function table. So, number 18. The table above shows some values for the function f. If f of x equals, what was that? Okay, if f of x equals to ka of x, for some constants k and a, what is the value of a? And just to make sure, so you guys remember, a constant, if a variable is a constant, that means it has a fixed value. So we can't assume any number for these unless we're entirely sure. So let's start with the easiest power, zeros, because anything to the power of 0 is going to be equal to 1. So half should be equal to ka to the xth power, which is to the 0 power. So f of 0 equals to ka to the power 0, which will equal to 1/2. Now, as I said, anything to the power of 0 will equal 1, no matter what. So a to the power of 0 is going to equal 1. So we know that k times 1 equals to 1/2. Therefore, k has to equal half, 1/2, because 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. So now that we found a value of k, we can plug it into another power, let's say to the power 1. So here, let's move a bit to the right. Okay, let's do f of 1. So f of 1 is going to equal to k of a to the power of 1, which is just k of a. So it equals to k of a, and we know that k will equal to 1/2. So let's plug that in. So half a, that's the function of 1. And this function of f of 1 is going to equal to 2. So half of a equals to 2. And to remove this fraction, we multiply both sides by 2. 2 times half is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So a equals to 4. That's choice D. It's actually quite complicated, but once you figure out the value of k, it starts getting pretty straightforward. So let's move on, and if you've noticed by now, there's a white border because the next problem is going to be the hardest one in this entire section. So with that said, let's move on. And this drawing took quite some time, but it's a 3D pyramid, so keep in mind, take it from me, anything 3D is going to look very complicated, and usually is very complicated, but once you get a couple of values, it usually gets easier. So figure not drawn to scale. Mine is not drawn to scale at all. It looks much more better in the book. So the pyramid shown above has altitude, height, and a square base of side M. The 4 edges that meet at V, these orange edges, the vertex of the pyramid, each have length E. So there's a lot of values here. If E equals to M, then what is the value of H in terms of M? So, just so you don't get a headache, let's pick a value for M so we can figure out a value for E as well and not try and figure out the entire thing with variables only. So let's say M equals to 2. And since it says that they're not constants, we can assign any number, but I picked 2. So if M equals 2, since M equals to E, then E is also going to equal to 2. So the length here is 2, 2, 2, 2, and the E length is also 2, 2, 2, and 2. Oh, what did I write for? 2. So now you're wondering what to do. Well, now what we have to do is visualize right triangles in this 3D image. So it's gonna take a lot of work, but here, to make things easier, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw each face of the pyramid that we need for the problem individually somewhere around here so we can see what's going on. So actually what I'm going to do is label this a bit with my own letters just to make it a bit easier. Let's say this vertex is X, this is Y. So let's draw triangle VXY. So let's draw it over here. It looks something like this. Sides view here. Okay, that's exactly how it looks. V, X, and Y. We know this is 2. We also know this is 2. Now, we need to make a right triangle. So, what we do here is we draw our own imaginary line and make this into a right triangle. So, since we divide it into half, each side, so we reach the midpoint of X and Y. So, each one is going to be 1. So, the triangle here looks just like this. It's 1 and 2. And to figure out this side, just use Pythagorean theorem. So let's call that side X. Well, we already have X. Z. Z squared plus 1 squared equals to 2 squared. What's wrong with me? I'm writing to the power of 4 over and over again. Z squared plus 1 equals to 4. 2 squared equals 4. So Z squared equals to 3. And Z, we find the square root of each one. Z equals to the square root of 3. And we're going to keep it at that. There. So this green side, let's use some variety of colors. This white dashed line is going like this, right across the middle. So our next right triangle is going to be from the base of this height to here. Now, we already know 2 values. Well, the leg of this triangle is the hypotenuse of this other triangle. So it's root 3. And we know H to here is going to be equal to 1 because H is the dead center of the entire pyramid, although it doesn't look like that. It's not drawn to scale. So this equals to 1. And to find out the height, we just need to use Pythagorean theorem. So let's figure it out. We have H squared plus 1 squared is going to equal to square root of 3 squared. And when you square a square root, the square root just cancels upon itself and the number is the only thing that remains. So h squared plus 1 is going to equal to 3. And h squared is equal to 2. H, we find the square root, is equal to the square root of 2. So our height is equal to square root 2. And now all we need to do is plug in our values and try to figure out which one works out. So let's start with A. It's choice A is m divided by the square root of 2. So what is m? M is 2, if you recall. So 2 divided by the square root of 2, well, is equal to square root of 2. And to make sure, square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So is square root of 2 the height? Well, yes. So our correct answer is choice A. And that is quite easily the hardest question in this section. And we're going to quickly finish up on the last question. I hope we have enough time. Number 20. A salesperson's commission is K% of the selling price of a car. Which of the following represents the commission in dollars on 2 cars that sold for $14,000 each? So first things first, how much amount of money did he sell the cars for? Total $14,000 times 2, so it's $28,000. And now over here we also pick a value for K. So let's say K equals to 10. So his commission is 10% of 28,000. So 10%. So 10% will be the same thing as 0.10 because percentage is just divided by 10. And if we multiply it by 0.1, we move 1 decimal point to the left. This 0 will cancel out, so it equals to 2,800. So that's the salesperson's commission. So which of the following represents this commission in dollars? Now, why this question seems so easy yet so confusing is because when you calculate it, you need to use 0.10 or 10%, but when you look at the answer choices, you still have to use 10 on its own. So let's try choice A. Choice A is 280K. Now, what a lot of students do here is that they mistake this K for 0.10 and see that, oh, it's 28. No, it's wrong, and they cross it off. Well, no, you don't cross it off. K is equal to 10, so it's 280 times 10, so it's 2,800, which is, in fact, the commission that he receives. So our correct answer is choice A. And class, we have finished the first section of the first test, the first SAT practice test. We will be starting the next math section very soon. I hope this helps with your SAT math preparation, and I hope to see you guys soon.